In this video, I'll be changing the transmission oil for the first time in my 2021 KTM 300 EXC TPI. In the owner's manual, it specifies to change the transmission oil for the first time after 5 hours of operation. I've only got one ride on it, and it's got 2.7 hours, so it's a little bit earlier than the period specified, but I feel it's a really good idea to change it early after the first ride. Here you can see I'm using the Tokyo Off-Road Oil Drain tool. This allows you to drain oil without making a big mess all over the skid plate. It's installed by leaning the bike over to the right, removing the drain plug and installing the tool, and then leaning the bike up onto the side stand and draining the tool. In this case, I'm using a measuring container because I was interested to see how much oil was used in the factory. And here you can see the oil I drained, and I'm measuring 720 milliliters. And I've put the oil into a tray so you can see the color, and you can see it's very dark. Definitely needed changing. And here you can see the amount of debris which is collected on the magnetic drain plug. And here you can see I've wiped the debris onto some kitchen paper, and it's all a slurry. There's no large chunks of metal, which is good news. Always a good idea to inspect the debris when you're changing the oil. If you do find some large chunks of metal, that's probably not a good sign and worth investigating. But in this case, it all looks good, but definitely a good idea when the engine is breaking in early hours to change the oil early. And here you can see I've cleaned off the drain plug and I've installed a new copper washer. The washers are cheap and help minimize the chance of getting a leak, so I think it's a really good idea to use a new one every change. And the recommended transmission oil is Motorex Top Speed 15W50. And I've measured out 800 milliliters, and what I'm going to do is pour it into the transmission, and I've removed the oil level bolt. So I'm going to stop when that starts coming out the oil level bolt, and I'll see how much remains, and then for next time I'll know exactly how much to put in without having to measure it like this. Okay, so I have the bike level on a work stand. If you're measuring the oil level, it's important that it is flat and level. So make sure you do that carefully. And I've removed the oil level screw, which is here. I've also removed the spring on the rear brake, not because I had to do this job, but if it's in place you can't really see the oil level on camera. And then I'm going to add oil slowly until it starts to come out here, and then measure how much oil I've got left from my 800 milliliters. And you can see now oil is just starting to come out of the level orifice here, so I'm going to measure how much I've got left now. Okay, so you can probably see here I have pretty much exactly 80 milliliters of oil left. So that means I put 720 milliliters into the transmission. And when you reinstall the oil level screw, be sure to use a new copper washer. And the torque spec for this is 8 Newton meters, but I actually prefer this to do it by feel. Because I know they are very easy to strip, and you don't want to overdo the torque. Particularly if you use it a lot, it can wear because it's just screwing into the aluminium case. I prefer not to use it. I only use it really once to measure the oil level initially when I've got a new bike, and I don't use it after that. So previously I made a video regarding transmission oil capacity, and in that video I used my 2019 KTM 250 EXC TPI, and I measured 675 milliliters, which is less than the 720 milliliters I've measured for my 2021. I think the difference is the 2021, or from 2020 model, the engine is actually rotated forwards a little bit. And that changes the oil level and requires a little more oil. So going forwards, I'm going to be using 720 milliliters of oil, and I typically change every 10 to 15 hours. I certainly wouldn't recommend leaving it every 40 hours as recommended in the owner's manual. I think that's way too long. And as the oil changes are so easy and relatively cheap in these two strokes, I really don't think there's a good reason for leaving it that long.